Well, hello everyone out there in the head couch analyst world. My name is Sanders, your host per normal, and we are living in the land where the birds love to flock and the couch analysts love to be wrong. How are you all doing? I got a fun episode for you guys today. It's going to be a quick one, and by quick, about 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm going to be talking about some topics that I want to talk about. And as you can see, I have Cliff Kingsbury right here for you to start it off. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be talking about some things where um, they're going to be topics that maybe not everybody's covering in the NFL right now, but there are certainly topics that I want to go over and things that I think will be interesting to talk about here. Let me turn this on real quickly. There we go. Show my face for this. But I do have a guest with me today that's going to be playing along with us. I have Jackie from the Redbird Red Zone podcast. How are you doing, Jackie?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It was super last minute, but I'm really glad to be jumping on with you tonight.
Yeah, what ended up happening is they were supposed to be recording their episode for their podcast tonight, but something happened to where it got delayed to tomorrow. So I asked if they wanted to come on, and Jackie so kindly said yes. So thank you for coming on, Jackie.
Anytime. I'm here anytime.
All right, cool. So let's talk about your team first here. A few things that I want to point out for the Arizona Cardinals here. Looking at you guys, the audience here, as I go over this. The Cardinals won. They won 26-16. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that on Sunday versus the Carolina Panthers, but they did so in what I would call a not convincing fashion. Others could argue with me that it is convincing, but to me, if you're getting off to a slow start and you got to rely on yourself playing a bad team to win the game, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I understand on paper you're 2-2. You looked at your schedule, said the first 6 games are the hardest part of your schedule, right? But if I pull up the Cardinal schedule right now, like let's just see how the 25% of it works, right? Pulling it up here for a second. The Cardinal schedule. All right. I mean, let's look at who we're playing here for a second. We're playing the Eagles next. The Seahawks, which don't look like the easiest thing anymore in the world. Saints could be a tough out, but you should get that win. The Vikings, I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit from your podcast specifically on this, but that's not an easy win either, right? The
Right.
Rams, like you should beat the Rams, but you lost to them last time. The 49ers look like the best team in your division currently, and you have the Chargers after that. Should beat the Patriots, should beat the Broncos, Buccaneers, who knows? And by the end of the season, we don't know where the Falcons are going to be at. Are they still going to be bad, or they get better? Like it's just schedule doesn't look great. Like I know you looked at your first, 6 games, and you're like, make it 3-3, and we're good. But I don't think you're good anymore. Looking at the rest of the schedule, right? This is a tough schedule. Like in general, like some of these
I
teams are
believe
better
that,
than advertised.
yeah, I believe that we have like the toughest ranked schedule. So that's a little concerning. And so you'd think, like, given this gauntlet of a schedule, that we would come out swinging, and we just been misfiring. And honestly, that Rams game, that pisses me off because we should have won that game. Like there was no excuse why. It was just no one came prepared and ready. And that's your opportunity to take command in the division, and you shit the bed. But it's typical Cardinals. We do that all the time. We could have won the division last year and the year before and shit the bed.
I agree. So pretty much, just to summarize my thoughts on Cliff Kingsbury here, something's got to improve, right? Something's got to
Right.
give. Can't keep calling the screens. Can't keep, you know, taking your college level offense and trying to make it work in the pros. You need to evolve it. And if none of these things are happening, I would like to see them give a better offensive person for Kyler Murray in this offense because theoretically these pieces should be better than they are currently. The
Right.
only the only person who's actually succeeding in it right now is Marquise Brown. Like he is thriving in this, but outside of him, I can't really think of anyone else who's like per per se thriving. Like I guess you could argue like Murray's getting some like production, but I think there's a difference between production and thriving.
Yeah, he's productive, but he's not thriving.
No,
I can agree with that.
I think there's someone who could unleash this offense right now, and I just don't think that's Cliff at the time. So what are you gonna
Yeah, you
do?
can't help but wonder, like, if we had somebody else. we see better production out of Tyler or our players. And I mean, not that I thought like Andy Isabella was going to be something special, but now I kind of can't help but wonder if like he just needed to get away from the system to like get a chance somewhere.
I promise you, he won't do any better in Baltimore.
Probably not,
No,
but
he's not going to do any better on the team that I like to watch. So, one little comment on the defense, real quickly here. I don't think Vance Joseph's defense is a massive problem. I think it's an issue that they're not playing like younger players or trusting
mm-hmm.
younger players to play. There's something to be said there, right? But I don't think like they're the reason the Cardinals are losing. If anything, they're the reason the Cardinals have been in games going 2-2, except for the first game. But
Right.
I think the first game was a result of you playing, a bunch of, for the meme D3 backups against the Chiefs offense. Like you were doomed from the start on that one. But the rest of the games, you held out the Raiders in the second half. You did what you were supposed to do against the Panthers. Like the defense held them to 16 points. Like you should win any game that you hold a team to 16 points. And technically, you held the Rams to 20 points. Like that's a winnable game. Your offense just didn't do anything about it. So, you know,
That's what I'm saying. As much as like we bitched about like not picking up anybody like notable in the defensive things, like they've actually put forth a very good effort. I just don't like the soft so.
no, the soft zones are kind of annoying. I agree. The thing is, in order to play soft zone, you have to have a better front line. Which there's no coincidence that when J.J. Watt is playing, your defense is better because
Mm-hmm.
that type of game plan that Vance Joseph likes to put out requires that the front line do its job and not get any extra help. So
Yeah.
when J.J. Watt is playing, it's fine. But when J.J. Watt's not playing, well, then it's not fine to not have that extra help on the line, and then you see issues. So, it is what it is on the defensive side of things. But I don't really blame them for anything. Like week one, they fumbled the bag, but I don't think that was their fault either. I think that the biggest issue was you just didn't have a full roster at the time going into week one. So, at the end of
Yeah.
the day, in summary, I'm not looking forward to watching the Cardinals offense the rest of the year unless something changes. And when I say something changes, I don't mean like there's a few like better play calls in there. Like the entire game plan needs to be uplifted. Like I need to never see a screen on 3rd and 16 ever again. I need to never
Yeah, like
see
unleash Rondell Moore. Like stop
I need to
doing
never
these
see a screen
behind the
on
line.
I need to never see a screen on 1st and 10. I need to see what you were saying, like Rondale Moore in the middle of the friggin' field, or Marquise Brown on a slant to give him room to use his speed, like for yards after the catch. Like one of those ones where they start slightly on the outside and do a juke move to the center, and it's a quick pass to the center, and they just keep running. Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to see Hollywood Brown do that. Like, what the
Use
hell,
his
man?
speed.
Yes, exactly. He doesn't need to be just a deep threat the whole time. He can be a, catch while on the run.
Catch and
If
run.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
even catch and run. You are running and Murray throws it 4 yards in front of him and he catches it as he reaches it and he can still keep going full speed because he's already at full speed. Like your deep ball 50-50 guy should be like Hopkins or AJ Green. And I know AJ Green's not that great anymore, but like those are the guys that like should be your 50-50s, not short ass Marquise Brown. Quit using him the way Baltimore did. It didn't work in Baltimore. And when Marquise Brown has had the most success for you guys is when he's been those middle of the field things, and that just needs to continue. All right, I'm done talking about Cliff Kingsbury. We can move on.
Okay.
We could go on and on and on about this. All right, let's talk about the Ravens for a second. Some of you might be sitting here like, yes, Sanders talking about the Ravens. Big shocker here. But I think there's something to be said here, specifically with the title that I have here with, the Bills, taking down Lamar Jackson here. If you ask me, this Ravens team has a bigger ceiling than any other team in the NFL, but they also have one of the lowest floors. Like it is staggering how good this team is when they are humming, right? Like they were beating the Super Bowl favorites 20-3 when they were humming. They were dominating the Dolphins 35-14 when they were humming, but when the offense stalls and the defense is on the field for a while, it looks ugly. Really ugly, and they look like a team that's not going to go very far in terms of consistency. Um, if you want to put a point on it, I feel like this is a team that goes 12-5 and loses in the first round of the playoffs. Not because of the whole meme that Lamar can't win a playoff game, but because this team as a whole cannot finish games. And against better teams in the playoffs, if you can't finish games, you're screwed. Like that's how I look at Baltimore. They'll be okay. They'll be good. They will keep my sanity for most of the season, but this team, for as much as it could win a Super Bowl, is not showing that Super Bowl potential at the moment. They can fix that over the next 75% of the year. I remember in 2019, we started 2-2 in 2019, Lamar's MVP year. We got stomped by the Browns like 41-25, I think it was what it was, and then won the next 12 in a row, and that was the most amazing time of my life as a football fan. So like I could pray for that to happen again, but we have to
Better than the
react.
Super Bowl run?
Uh, you know, the Super Bowl run was magical in terms of like that we shouldn't have been there. Like I'll be
Okay.
honest, we should not have been there. It should have been the Broncos. We beat them in double OT because of a missed assignment by a safety. If you remember the Mile High Miracle, where like Joe Flacco just launched it, and it was an underthrown ball too. If you rewatch it, it is an underthrown ball by Flacco. Like it's still 50 yards, but like the receiver had outrun that 50 yards, and he had to like slow down and stop to catch it. Like theoretically, a
Wow.
better safety would have intercepted that ball, but the safety was like 5 yards away. It was
Oh my goodness.
it was just a missed assignment, and that put it to overtime, and then it gave Justin Tucker a chance to kick a field goal in
Win it.
double overtime. Yeah. So like I'll be honest. If the mile high miracle doesn't happen, I firmly believe Denver goes to the Super Bowl that year, and probably beats San Francisco, and Manning would have 3 rings, not 2. But guess what? My team got the ring instead. Yay! Woohoo!
Woo.
So, I get back to this. Back to this though. The 2019 run was magical, and it could happen again. But like, they have to play to their ceiling, and they've just blown leads. They are the second team in NFL history to blow 17 plus point leads twice in a season. Only the second team in NFL history to do that. Like it's historical how bad they have been in closing out games. Like it's nuts. Oh, what do you think?
Well, me and you were talking about this before we started recording, but you're saying it's you feel that it's not even the defense, it's more on the offense not being able to put up points.
At least for this last game, yes. Like the defense held them to 20 points. You should be able to beat any team that you hold to 20 points. And especially when they scored 20 points throughout the whole game, or technically it's 23, but they scored 20 points when it was 20-3 for the rest of the game. And from the time that they scored 20 points, you scored 0. Nada. Nothing. I don't blame this on Harbaugh like a lot of people do for the whole like fourth and down thing. Like you had to go for it on fourth down. I was of the opinion you take the points, but upon reflection, you probably have to go for it on fourth down. And Lamar missed an open wide receiver. There you go. There's another reason why I blame the offense. It's a good play call by Harbaugh. Lamar missed the assignment. Like it's a
So is
27
that
it's a 27-20 game if he hits that assignment. Like I just there's yeah no it was the offense. I do blame the
execution or
offense.
play calling?
What?
I said, is it more execution or more play calling?
I'd say execution because if you watch the replay on it, Duvernay was wide open like he was supposed to be, and Lamar just didn't see
But
it.
for in both games though?
The other game that they blew, no, that was 100% on the defense. Offense was ahead 35-14.
Okay.
That was 100% on the defense. Like
Okay.
that's a big yikes. If you score 35 points, you should be able to win a game. But they just didn't get. They just never got to stop. I mean, one could argue that like the Ravens maybe could have scored again or had longer drives on offense, but like whatever. You're not going to always be firing on all cylinders all the time. Not even the Chiefs fire on all cylinders all the time. Like even the Chiefs
But
have
they
bad.
still find ways to win games.
Yeah, they still find ways to win games, and that's what you have to do. That's what the best teams do. They find ways to win games, even when they get stalled out, right? Like,
Right.
like making the Chiefs go 3-and-out is nice. Like my team has done it before, but that never makes me confident that we're gonna beat them. It's just like,
Right.
okay, we made the Chiefs go 3-and-out. Now can we score after making them go 3-and-out? Because if we can't score, well then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just a draw, right? And now Patrick Mahomes has the ball again, and we didn't score any points. you know, like you can stop them; they're stoppable, right? But if you don't score when you stop them, you're gonna lose because they will
Yeah.
score eventually, and that's the team you have to be, right? You could be
Yeah.
stopped. That's just how it is. These are all professional players. They're all playing at a high level. But you have to take advantage of opportunities when they come, and this Ravens offense did not. Either way, I think the team as a whole, though, has some like soul searching to do in terms of being a top AFC team because I feel like they could blow the doors off of anybody like they did in 2019. Like this offense feels like the 2019 offense when it's on fire. But the difference between this year and 2019 so far is 2019 nobody ever figured them out till the Titans did in the
Yeah.
playoffs, right? Nobody figured them out. Like they were unstoppable. Didn't matter who they were playing, what game, they were unbeatable. And that's how this Ravens offense has looked the last 4 games when they've been on fire. But they've had some missed opportunities lately, and I'm not sure where the answer is. The answer is definitely not in like play calling. I think play calling has probably been the best it's been from Greg Roman and Harbaugh this year. And I get a lot of Ravens fans if I had a lot of followers from that one. They'd think I'm dumb, but I'm not here to please anybody with my takes. I'm here to only see what my eyeball says, not what my feelings say. And my eyeball says the offense needs to play better in crucial moments.
Fair enough. And what do you think about Lamar Jackson and his MVP status? You think he's got a pretty good shot or what?
Despite this game not being his greatest, we'll see how Sunday night goes. MVP is 3 things, right? MVP is numbers, narrative, and hype. It has
He's got
nothing
the
to do,
narrative.
it has nothing to do with you being the most valuable player. Nothing. I will always argue in Lamar's MVP season it should have been Russell Wilson. If we're talking about most valuable player, Russell Wilson was the most valuable player to his team of any team that year. Like the only reason the Seahawks made the playoffs that year was because Russell Wilson was cooking and was on fire, and they had a 32nd ranked defense with I think it was like a 13th ranked rushing offense, but the passing game was like number 6 or number 5 purely because Russell Wilson was on fire. You know, that
Yeah.
to me is what MVP should be, but that's not what it is. It's based on narrative, numbers, and hype. Lamar's got the hype, and he has for the last 4 weeks. He's definitely going to have the numbers if he keeps it up because I think he's bad. I think they said if he finishes the season the way he is, he'll have over 4,000 yards and 52 touchdown passes. That doesn't include his rushing touchdowns. Like I think if you include his rushing touchdowns, he's supposed to have over 60 touchdowns total. It's not going to happen, obviously, because that'd be unreal to have 60 touchdowns. But the numbers would be there, right? And then the narrative would be that he's in a contract year, popping off, right? Like he
Yeah.
has everything playing in his favor. So I would say yeah, based on those things and what the media likes, he's just fine in the MVP race. But last week did not help him. This last week helped Josh Allen though, for sure. Josh Allen's MVP case went way up. Pulled his team down from a 20-3 deficit against a AFC playoff contender at Baltimore. Like Josh Allen definitely put himself up there. Anything else on this?
No, we
Nah.
can segue.
Okay, let's talk about the Chiefs here for a second. I'm gonna say it,
Oh, what about
and you'll have
Chiefs?
to react to this. I think they're the best team in the NFL currently through 4 weeks. I don't think there's a team better than them. Now I understand some of you are gonna be like, but they lost to the Colts. Colts are one of the worst teams. I get that, but every team is allowed to have a bad game. It happens.
Trap game.
Yeah, trap games, whatever you want to call them. These are still professional players playing at a high level. If we had a Chiefs Eagles game, I'm picking the Chiefs. If we had a Chiefs Bills game, I'm picking the Chiefs. Like, in what world am I picking against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid when they're on fire without Tyreek Hill right now? You could make a case that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback because Tyreek Hill is no longer there. Like Matthew Stafford became a better quarterback once Calvin Johnson left. Not because he didn't need Calvin Johnson there, but because his go-to is gone. Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback because his backyard football style wide receiver is gone. He can still play that style, but not like Tyreek Hill could.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes was forced to become a better quarterback. and that's scary for everybody involved in the NFL. This defense is a lot better than it has been in the last couple of years. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is the best team in the NFL right now. They just have a consistent wow factor. They have a consistent offense, and they get off the field when they need to on defense. What more do you want in an NFL team, right? What more do you want to take to the playoffs than that? Is there really anything more you could possibly want than those three things?
Yeah, I'd say they're probably like the most least flawed team. I mean, you got Buffalo, but their defense is a little banged up. You've got the Eagles, who
Are off to a hot
they're
start, but let's see who they really are when, push comes to shove, right? There was
yeah, they haven't played very good teams. Plus, they have. I don't know if I trust um, Sirianni in a playoff situation,
so I
just
like
being that he's a young new coach.
I like that you said that because I was listening to the Rich Eisen show today, and he said, "You want to know how good the Eagles are? We've come to the who have they played portion of the season, because that happens to every undefeated team, right?
Right.
Every undefeated team gets the who have they played treatment, which is stupid because you only play who's in front of you, right? It's the dumbest thing ever. I
Mm-hmm.
hate that argument. Who have they played? But I'm glad you brought it up though, because I think that's only a testament to how well Philadelphia's done. At the end, I don't care. I'm picking the Chiefs to beat them in a matchup because Jalen Hurts hasn't been there, done that yet. Nick Sirianni hasn't been there, done that yet. And we have seen historically, if you have not been there, done that yet, you're losing somewhere along the line. Maybe it's the
Yeah,
NFC
you're gonna get
Championship.
caught slipping.
Maybe it's the NFC Championship. Maybe it's the Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick lost in the Super Bowl, and so did Harbaugh. Right? They hadn't been there and done that. Um, you know, it's you
But
lose
Andy Reid
some.
and Patrick Mahomes have.
Take the Panthers as another case, right? The Panthers had not been there, done that when they went all the way to the Super Bowl. They were riding a high, and well, as soon as they faced adversity, they acted like a bunch of. I'll say it, they acted like a bunch of little bitches, specifically Cam Newton.
Hot take. I like it.
I don't even think it's a hot take. There's literally a
It's not a
gif of
hot take.
him rolling on the floor like a baby.
It's
Like,
just the use of language,
yeah,
Sanders.
yeah, I know.
There's
But,
children listening. I'm kidding.
but,
How many times have they said fuck in this? In this?
but the Chiefs aren't gonna be that way. They have been there, done that twice actually. Once winning the
Yeah.
Super Bowl and once losing it. Like, you know, I don't know. This is the best team. This is the team to watch out for in the AFC. Buffalo's still really good, but I'll pick Kansas City.
I can get behind that.
On that topic, though, Buffalo is still good enough, right? Like,
Right.
they are, like, would you be surprised if Buffalo went into Kansas City and won in January? I wouldn't be.
No.
No. But if I had to hedge my bets, it's definitely going to be Kansas City. So, moving on from the big Kansas City, let's talk about the one team I never thought I'd be talking about this season so far. At least not that much. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys here. Um, I know it kind of hurts us as like Arizona residents to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to give this team any credit or flowers
But
or
but you
whatever.
have to when they're 3-1 with a backup quarterback, right?
Right.
Like you kind of have to, don't you? Like props to them. Cooper Rush is 3-0. He's playing well, and he's gonna hit a wall at some point. But like, you gotta be kind of curious as to how far
You
they
can
can
take
they
them.
can take. Yeah, they can take this with Cooper Rush, right? Like, let me ask you
And
this: would you be scared of playing Dallas if you had to play them this weekend?
yeah, I would. Given the state of our team, I would.
Yeah, because you know that Dallas doesn't have the problems that you do, right? They're playing at a consistent level. Can you beat that? Sure. I don't think these guys are world beaters, and they're certainly not playing at a level that's higher than some of the best teams. But if you're playing at a consistently above average level, right?
You're gonna win games.
Yeah, exactly. And how often are you going to lose games? Not very.
Yeah.
If they play the way they've been playing, this is what, maybe a 5 or 6 loss team? This is an 11-6 team we're looking at, right now, and I would
Yeah.
have never said that about Dallas going into the season. I had them going like 8-9, 9-8. It's kind of crazy to me that I am now looking at them like, this could be an 11-6 or 12-5 team. And if you multiply it
Yeah, they
by
can make a playoff appearance.
And if you multiply the record by four, that would be having them at 12-4, and then they could go 13-4 or 12-5. I don't think they'll do that well. They'll stumble somewhere along the line or blow a game that they should win. But I think 11-6 or 10 and double-digit wins at least is where this team is headed. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I could see it. Now, is there going to be a quarterback controversy when Dak comes back? If Cooper Rush is still playing at a really good level.
I love that you asked that. My take is that if you're undefeated going in with Dak, I'm sorry, just keep playing Cooper Rush. Keep playing him until he looks terrible. Like, do exactly what you did to Tony Romo. I'm being serious. Do what you did to Tony Romo. Dak was playing so well, you did not play with Tony Romo. So play until you lose, and then put Dak back in. Which means, Cooper Rush only has a one-game leash, but that's all a backup quarterback should have in the first place, especially when you have an extended contract like Dak Prescott here. And I
Yeah,
still believe that if they had played Tony Romo in Dak Prescott's rookie year, they would have gotten further in the playoffs than they did. The biggest reason the Cowboys didn't go very far was because they had a rookie
they had a
quarterback.
rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if Romo would have been playing, it's a different story overall. But that's neither here nor there. So no, I wanted to give a little bit of credit to Dallas here. They are a much better team than a lot of people think, and I'm not placing them on a pedestal or anything. I still think the Eagles will finish over them in the division. The Eagles have a pretty big lead, but it's like the Cowboys are only one game behind the Eagles if you want to think about it that way.
They will be
It's
competitive.
Yes, yes, they will be, and it's crazy to think that this Dallas defense has been much better than advertised. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised with the amount of weapons that Dallas has had out and the lack of Ezekiel Elliott that this Cowboys offense has functioned so well. But that's all credit to Cooper Rush here. So yeah, I watch out for the Cowboys this year in terms of them upsetting you. Maybe not to make a Super Bowl run, but they're going to do a lot better than you think.
Yeah, a lot better than advertised, like you said.
So let's move on to the last team I want to talk about here, the wonderful Jacksonville Jaguars. Where do we start? Here, where do you want to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars? I think I already know where you want to go with this.
Well, let's just say that the best quarterback in the history of their franchise has just announced his retirement today. Good luck in retirement, Blake Bortles.
Oh, that's so disrespectful to David Gerard. Come on now. I don't even know if you know who
I'm
David Gerard is.
No, I don't.
David Gerard was their quarterback from 2006 to 2010, and he took him to the playoffs twice, and he was a lot of fun to watch. He was like he was pretty mobile, but he was big, like, and he trucked people. Like, he would run the ball, but he would like truck you. Like, he wanted contact, and that's probably what made his career really short. He only had like a 5-year career as quarterback, so, and he had to leave because of injury. But I loved David Gerard when he was in. He also has the most famous play in Jaguars history. I don't know if you've seen the one where a quarterback launches the ball to the end zone, right? And a Titan bats the pass down, but the batted pass lands in a receiver's hands, and they run it in to the end
No,
zone. You've never seen that play? I
no.
will have to show it to you after this episode is over. But that play is legendary, and it's by David Gerard. So, but it's arguable. It's arguably the best play like ever in franchise history, and it was in overtime too.
Oh,
So,
wow.
oh yeah, or maybe it was at the end. Maybe it was like at the end of the fourth quarter, right as the timer was running. I forget. It was at a crucial moment in the game where it was like win or lose. Moving forward to the new
Wow.
quarterback now, though, you see this big man right here on my screen, Trevor Lawrence. Um, who would have thought? If you had a real head coach, you'd play well. Like this
What
team,
a concept.
this team was immediately better the second Urban Meyer was gone, right? And then they made Doug
Right.
Peterson the hire. Like they were like, well, who do we hire as a coach? And suddenly they're like, how about the Super Bowl winning coach Doug Peterson? All right, solid. By the way, this defense is nasty. This defense has the second most turnovers in the NFL right now. I don't know if anybody knew that. Like, I understand everybody's talking about how improved the Jaguars offense is because it is much improved from what it used to be. But let's talk about this Jaguars defense and how it has the second most turnovers in the NFL. Let's talk about how ball in their pass rush is and how elite their secondary is currently. They're nuts. I don't want to play this team. I don't play them this season, actually, thank God. But I don't want to see this team in the postseason. I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl or anything, right? But they might win their
Right.
division. And if I find myself as a Ravens fan not winning the division, I'm traveling to a team that won their division. And I'm likely traveling to Jacksonville based on seeding. This is not a team I want to play. I don't want to play them because I think they can at least make it to the divisional round before losing out to the Bills or the Chiefs. Right? This is a team that
Right.
will upset somebody that should not be upset. Heck, they could upset the Chiefs or the Bills in the divisional round and probably lose the AFC Championship, but like, this team's good. This team's really good, and Trevor Lawrence is having an actual NFL season now, and he's actually getting use out of his weapons and figuring out an offense that works. It's kind of crazy how good this Jaguars team always was if they just had some competency for leadership. Isn't that
Yeah, the
weird?
turnaround was quick. Yeah.
Isn't that weird how literally everything was there on the field? They just needed real leadership.
And they've got a Super Bowl winning coach. A coach has been there, done that.
So let me ask you this. How far do you think Trevor Lawrence can take this team? And I don't mean like they could win the Super Bowl. I mean like how well do you think he could play? Like do you think we could eventually be talking about him in the top 10 echelon with like I don't know, let's just say who would be like around the top 10 area right now? So not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Rodgers, but like
From like 10 to 5.
the Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jacksons of
Peers.
the world. You know, do you think we could be talking about him like that by the end of the year?
I don't know about the end of the year because it's only week 4. I mean, if they win the division and get and see how well they perform in the playoffs, then maybe by next year we can start putting him in the top 10. But I haven't watched him play, so I can't sit here and be like, yeah. I'm looking at box scores and it's just like the improvement is there.
Probably seen his highlights and stuff like that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I'm ready. I'm ready for there to be some upheaval in the world that's consistent. Like the Chiefs upheavaled the world a few years ago, right? But now it's just like the Chiefs. Like and the Chiefs are exciting to watch, don't get me wrong, right? But I'm at that point where I will admit I'm taking the Chiefs for granted in how good they are because after you see the same name after a while, you're like, let's see something new. And I think Trevor Lawrence here could be a fun little new here. Although that
Exactly.
although that new may not last that long. Because when you look at who he has to beat, like Herbert, Allen, Mahomes,
That's a
Jackson,
tough crowd.
that's a
That's a
tough crowd
very
to beat.
loaded AFC.
It's a very loaded AFC quarterback room to try and beat out. So, but it will always mean that they're overlooked, right? If your
Right.
quarterback is overlooked, it means your team is overlooked. And it's not like Lawrence can't play. Like we've seen him be able to play. Heck, he was beating you guys for a little bit last year.
Yeah, he did give it to us a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
he gave you a pick six. I don't remember if he got a pick six, but
yeah, no,
on the
he gave
on
us that too.
yeah, on the other hand though, it looked a little scary. I think it was like week 5 for you guys, wasn't it? Something like that.
Week 4 or
Week
5,
four
I
or five,
believe.
you had the kick six, and it looked like a nightmare.
Yeah,
Dude, there was a meltdown on Cardinals Twitter. I remember
I know. I
melt
got so much
down.
shit because I was like, why would you kick it with the most unathletic men on the field to try to stop the fastest human being ever? And people were like, I would like kicking it was a good idea, blah 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 blah. You were just saying that Matt Prater was swinging his dick the week before. I'm like, oh my god. Obviously, I'm overreacting. Come on.
Yeah. Oh boy. Alrighty, well, I think that wraps it up for my thoughts on the NFL season. I'm going to be putting my picks out later, but that was some of my thoughts. Is there anything you want to comment on before we get out of here?
Uh, let's see who's playing tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night? Oh my God, the Colts and the Broncos.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't have anything to say.
Well, what's funny is my favorite part about that was someone said, "I can't wait to watch the two best running backs go at it on Thursday Night Football. Jonathan Taylor and Javonte Williams. Well, yeah, the funny
Ooh.
part about those, they're both out for tomorrow. Well, Javonte Williams is out for the season, but Jonathan Taylor's
Yeah.
also out.
So there's absolutely no reason to watch that game.
I mean, I guess like if you have fantasy purposes, which I do, I have Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton pops off every week. Wilson loves to throw to Sutton, so I will be watching
Actually,
simply for that.
I will be watching because I want to see Russell Wilson struggle.
Wait, you could have just been watching him the whole season. He's had the worst start of his career. He's not been good.
He has. I've caught like bits and pieces. Like I watched the revenge game.
Yeah, the
Um,
revenge game that wasn't the revenge game.
yeah, no. So I'm kind of low key enjoying Russell Wilson struggle.
No, I can imagine that. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be it from us tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening in. Jackie, thanks so much for coming on. It's been fun.
Always, anytime, just let me know.
Cool. And just so y'all know, and you already know probably while you're watching this, this will be split into several videos between segments. So that way you can consume them in short amounts of time if you want. And I'll be posting the whole thing as well, just for the heck of it. So follow Jackie on Twitter. What is it still J San Diego?
Yes.
Yep. So her ad is J San Diego. You can follow her on Twitter, or you can follow the show at HC_analysts. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and I will see you all in a couple days when I post my picks.